Good morning. Good morning or good afternoon. There we go. No, that's all working. Go live. Stream is being recorded too. Put that on a different screen. Alright, so London session was a treat today. Already secured. I got out of most of my position right around here after 11 points. Eventually we hit that previous day's high, but we didn't really go above it. So we have equal high buy side here. Before we get started, let's check. We still have 6 minutes until the New York Open. Take a look at NQ and see what NQ is up to. Let the ICT all-in-one quickly load up. NQ pushed above that previous day's high. And then also already retraced almost back to that low of the day. Interested to see what happens on day 3. So we had Monday up, Tuesday up, and now that continuation on Wednesday. Tomorrow we have the CPI news event. And because we already hit it big this week so far, I'm not willing to risk too much. But we will see. If we see a good opportunity, definitely gonna take it. I would watch out for that low of the day being cleared first. NQ also retraced deeper compared to almost the same. We're still respecting the breaker block though that we used for the London session setup right here with these discounts paired with the order block. So once we got right up in here, we had this equal high buy side, and this equal high buy side we were looking for a potential long of the bullish inefficiencies being left behind. Paired with this inversion fair value gap, we used this as resistance once, twice, also nicely aligned with the VWAP today. We swept that Asia session sell side, immediately retraced starting at 2 a.m. retesting these inefficiencies paired with the VWAP and the breaker block to deliver into buy side. Inversion fair value gap down here because we don't really have a bullish fair value gap at these lows. That's the lowest bullish fair value gaps here on the 5-minute time frame. That's also interesting if we take a look at this fair value gap here. Can see that every time we close below it, we open with a volume imbalance, or if we close right at the low and open with a bearish volume imbalance, we bounced off that level. But let's wait and see what the London Open has to offer today. So this would be a bearish fair value gap. Now we close above a inversion fair value gap. So let's make it purple. Want to keep an eye on NQ here too. We closed above. We failed to hold on this bearish fair value gap. We have that equal high buy side. That would be a great target for the continuation above. We still have some of unfilled inefficiencies to the upside. And a short-term high right here from last week's new week opening gap. So this little white shaded area would be that new week and basically new year opening gap. Right up here, so we can mark this up as buy side above the previous day's high. And then that next buy side target would be the previous week's high. And the current high of the year, if we were to look at the yearly time frame. Previous week's high, buy side. All these inefficiencies here. Do we need this bearish fair value gap? Not really, because we haven't seen it being respected too much. Good morning, guys. Like always, if you have any questions or you want to share your own bias here, feel free to do so. Just put it into the live stream chat, right? Let me actually make this like this, so I can simply pull it over here. Also no SMT divergence here at the lows. Let me mark up sell side on NQ. One more minute before the New York Open. We don't need all these inefficiencies anymore. We understand that we use those for the setup earlier. And I also mentioned earlier this morning we hung out a little bit in the hangout section down here listening to some music. And once I saw this volume imbalance and note that this volume imbalance hasn't been filled in and we simply continued to rally up higher, that's also why I had a good feeling about price, with high probability coming back to fill in this inefficiency. We always do, and that's also why I felt really comfortable securing my profits above this buy side target. That's a good area. What do you think about till 1010 macro? Yeah, I always watch out for the macro timing because it's a new hourly opening. And that's usually where we see that manipulation. It's also the point in time where we see higher time frame traders with a higher probability going to enter the market. If you're a 15 or 1 hour time frame trader, you're likely entering with the opening of a 1 hour candle. So here we swept sell side. We'd never closed below the midnight level. Let's see how we can continue here and mark up some recent fair value gaps. Take a look at Nasdaq, if Nasdaq is following. Yep, Nasdaq is following as well. And then a macro where I put more emphasis on would be the 950 till 1010, because that's also a new 4 hour candle opening. So let's see how we close here. Wait for that first 5-minute candle. We took short-term highs here already. See if we can get to push above this bearish fair value gap. Then that next bearish fair value gap I would be referencing would be sitting right up here. And I like those because we used them as resistance already. We have that equal high buy side. But right now I don't feel like simply jumping in like that. If we're just going to run here, then I think the target should be pretty obvious up here. And looks like we're just going to make the run for it. Lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high. All those lower highs and lower lows are within this lower high to this lower low. So I wouldn't draw the market structure shift right here, for example. The market structure shift for me really would be at this level right here. We're just going to make the run for it, I guess. I'm not too worried about it. We already caught the exact same move all the way from the low base or from this retracement into that buy side already. So I'm going to stay patient here. Short-term high cleared, and that's going to be our next short-term high. Take a look at Nasdaq. Nasdaq is also pushing, but yes, right now is leading, that's for sure. It's very likely going to turn out as a inversion fair value gap, so let's do that already. Then we have those two bearish fair value gaps, our previous day's high. 3 daily highs basically right around this area. Every time we got into it, we've been rejected. So we could call it a resistance area. Got into it, rejected. Got above it, rejected. Touched it, rejected. So let's see, let me quickly mark up fair value gaps here to the left. This one right here. Still 1 minute to go before we get that new opening. And when it comes to the timing aspect, I also like to look at the 15-minute time frame, a new 15-minute candle opening, especially on that 5-minute time frame. That's usually, or 30-minute candle, that's usually where more volume and momentum kicks in on the lower time frame. I will show you an example in a second once I have all these fair value gaps marked up. For example, today's London session. If we watch the time closely, we also had a 15-minute bullish fair value gap right here. We also, saw this inversion fair value gap right here. So this was a 5 and 15-minute inversion fair value gap that we used as resistance before to deliver into sell side. Now we close above it and also leave behind a bullish 15-minute. And after the 45 candle closed, if we drop that down to the 5-minute time frame, we saw 40, 45, that's a new 15-minute opening, 50, 55, and then with that new 15-minute and new hourly candle, we get that continuation, and rarely because a new 15, 30, and 1 hour candle opens up at that point in time. I think even a 4-hour candle, if I'm not completely wrong. That's why we see that run, and I always think it's okay, interesting. I'm not gonna chase this here, but note the volume imbalance. That's always a good sign that we're really bullish and we're just gonna continue to run here. Retested this inversion here quickly. Just a high, we didn't retrace back into it. Those are all bearish fair value gaps. Every time we got into it, we've been rejected. So I like this one, and I would like to use that to, for potential invalidation if we see the close above it, to use it as support. And those are the bearish fair value gaps to the upside, paired with the new year opening gap right here around 4812 to 4818. Nice, well done. I would have liked to see some confirmation during that macro. I always, put more emphasis on these timings, of course, and watch out for it. But I don't just blindly buy based on time, if you know what I mean. And here we unfortunately haven't had that inversion fair value gap set up well. We had a tiny little inversion fair value gap right here, close above, retesting, and then retest the inversion fair value gap, but simply entering once we close above that. Could have been used as confluence here. That's just not my style, but if it's yours. And a 4-hour held. Yeah, well, awesome. I'm sure you had your reasons to do a lot more. Yeah, and that's part of the reason why I don't feel any FOMO here. Let's see how it plays out. We have our targets and areas. If I allow myself to take these trades, where I afterwards say that I don't want to do this too often, but well, I'm glad it made money. Well, it doesn't really work out well for me most of the times. But that's, very specific to each and every trader. I always imagine my trading and my trading account like a garden, and there's a lot of, what's it called again? Lots of weeds in that garden, and I'm the gardener trying to keep the garden clean. For example, today I'm really proud, like I only took 1 entry or 2 entries, 1 lot right here on this fair value gap and another lot right here. And my exits were at this buy side liquidity, this buy side liquidity pool, and then one's up here. Before, if you go back 1 or 2 years, I would have been long, short, long, short, long, short, and then long, exit, and then hop in long again. And that's really what I want to get rid of. And sometimes if we wait for that confirmation, we simply don't get it. It's always possible. That's why what I often say, I'm quick to enter a trade, but I'm even quicker to exit it. So for example here, that nice little, that could be used as confirmation. If all we want to target, of course you have to be quick on these, if all we want to target is the continuation run with the momentum that's already existing into the SPY side for a quick 2 points, that's a confirmation, or auto confirmation I sometimes look for. But on a CFD account, this doesn't really make sense to jump in here with the added spread and all that stuff. Take a partial, move your stop to break even and see if the momentum continues. Wait for NQ to hit its target. We can see that right now, at least. There's potential SMT divergence. NQ is struggling to push back above the previous day's high here, while ES opens again with a bullish volume imbalance. So that might, well, not the biggest NQ trader. Let's see. So for an example, this is just a paper trade using the volume imbalance and now this inversion fair value gap. Now we closed above it on the 5-minute time frame for the first time. And another inversion fair value gap, too many inversion fair value gaps. Right here, immediately rebalancing this candle. This entry not as great compared to this one, because right here that's the volume imbalance above buy side, while this is the volume imbalance below buy side for a quick scalp. But let's see if we now end up holding support on this inversion fair value gap and continue to maybe even push through the next bearish. I was wondering why everything's purple here on my chart. If we can continue the run, or if it happens to be a fake out, a last run manipulation, price being used as a marketing tool to make retail believe we're gonna go higher. That's the only tool that market makers have available, if you think about it from a, if you look at the chart, or if you look at price as, or the marketplace as a regular marketplace, for example, where you buy your veggies and stuff, they also have signs and ads up, or even someone yelling out loud, oh, 10 tomatoes, 1 pound fish for $1. I don't know. The only tool that they have available is price and candlesticks, making it look like it's gonna do one thing before doing exactly the opposite. If you watched a lot of, what's his name again? Hang on. Let me Google that quickly. John Dalton, that's his name, yeah. Pretty sure. Where's the that looks like a chemist. John Dalton Trading, let's see. Yeah, Jim Dalton, that's his name, not John. Jim Dalton, if you maybe have heard of him before, old veteran trader. He often talks about inventory being trapped long, and with inventory he basically means retail traders being trapped long. Inventory right now is long. Buy it at discount, sell at a premium. That's how every business in the end of the day works, and you can really break that down to trading as well. We retested the inversion fair value gap here, rebalanced this bullish candle, haven't referenced a bullish fair value gap, but by the looks of it, if we leave that volume imbalance open in the next 50 seconds, that's usually how I manage my volume imbalance entries. If they remain open during the duration of this 5-minute candle, I keep on holding onto that trade. If they get closed in immediately on that same candle, I take off some risk. And those are, from my inventory of potential entry opportunities, the most aggressive ones. Because you jump in with a market order, or if you quick enough, place a buy limit at the close of that previous candle, wait for it to be triggered. So let's see, take a look at Nasdaq. Bounce off the VWAP paired with a bullish fair value gap. Let's see if they use it to move up higher. But we don't see that strength on NQ right now. Like I said, I'm not in on my funding pips account on this inversion fair value gap long. That would be the next buy side target, because within this area where price is right now and this buy side target at 4818, all we have is inefficiencies. All we can work with. And because right now it looks like we have SMT divergence in play, just want to mark it up and set an alert here on NQ. I'm not too interested to buy in at the high of the day with a fair value gap just below us. That's 5 points wide. So if I jump here, I would expose myself to a lot of risk, and like I said, I want to filter out the weed in terms of my garden, my funded account. Keep it clean. For a 15-minute fair value gap bearish. Interesting. Yeah, no confirmation. I was watching Bookmap, gave me some close. It's not a trade I would like to do a lot more. I did this kind of stuff a lot in the past. Welcome to the club. It's just a trade I saw nice the morning, so I followed that. I really like your confirmation stuff. If it doesn't work out, I used to expose myself to a possible very bad day, account blown. I would be real excited if we see a 15-minute bearish fair value gap in the next hour. Well, we'll see. We will see. Yeah. NQ is really not showing that strength here. That's why I'm leaving it at a paper trade for now. Let's check out the 15-minute. That's the first 15-minute candle close, and even the 15 managed to close above our fair value gap. Even a 15-minute time frame fair value gap here. So that high of our 5-minute bearish fair value gap lines up perfectly with the high of our 15-minute bearish. Every time we got into it, we've been rejected. Now we actually close above it for the first time on both the 5 and 15-minute time frame. Right now, I don't see, at least on a 5 and 15-minute time frame, any reason to believe that we're in bearish order flow right now. Everything points towards bullish order flow. Also closing above the previous day's high. But yeah, that SMT divergence is kind of... Yeah, we saw something similar yesterday on NQ. If we compared NQ to ES, NQ started to run earlier compared to ES, where we caught this long right here, and ES started to consolidate and retrace here, while NQ already shot up before. We might see that today on ES. So let's see, 1 more minute to go. 9:45, new 15-minute candle. See what happens at 10 a.m. that new 1 hour and 4 hour candle open. Not convinced yet to even just dip my feet into the water. It would be worth a try, I think, to try this inversion fair value gap play on the 5 and 15-minute time frame for the possible continuation higher. The thing is that if I get in here on my funding pips account, the trade really isn't invalidated if we retrace into this fair value gap, and this would just expose me to more risk that I'm willing to take on. Because of the big fair value gap here, more than 5 points. But let's see. Can also check out the 1 minute time frame for reference now quickly. 1 push, 2 push, 3 push. Let's see. I'm gonna stick to the 5 minute for now. Is anyone already in a trade, or maybe on a different currency pair we could check out? Yeah, NQ is really not showing that strength. We have that SMT divergence, so I'm gonna take off some risk here for my paper account. Now we're inside that bullish fair value gap. That's what I meant. But it's just, I don't know. My gut tells me not to engage right now, and I started to really listen to my gut feeling. So let's see, this would also be our potential breaker block right here. Retested inversion fair value gap right there. $9.50, so now we're inside that. I like to call it super macro in an ICT kind of perspective, because it's not just a typical 1 hour candle opening that's coming up, it's also a new 4 hour candle. So I like to imagine that traders that trade the higher time frames on a 4 hour chart, they're highly anticipating that 10 a.m. close or 9 a.m. this candle close basically to basically use that for their next move. The plan of action. It's going to depend on how this candle is going to close. We're right now inside that 4 hour bearish fair value gap. We'll see. That's why I like to put more weight on the 9:50 till 10:10 macro compared to the 8:50 until 9:10 macro, because we also have that new 4 hour candle opening up at that time. You short on ES? Okay. Counter trend agent. Check out to 1 minute if we see any signs. Now this big bullish fair value gap here on ES makes it kind of tough. I mean, I would start to invalidate the long once we close below it like we always do. I'm gonna use this inversion fair value gap right here. We accumulated good profits so far this week, even on the paper account. Right now, like I said, not getting involved with price. Don't think it's a good opportunity compared to what we've already seen today during the London session. I know not everyone is able to trade London, but I think we don't have a reason to FOMO just yet. If we reject from that 4-hour fair value gap with bearish SMT divergence after raiding all these highs, this could be the potential high of the week, and we have plenty of room to move to the downside and potentially catch a short. So I don't have to exactly get in at the high in order to make money. Alright, let's sell one contract here and another one. Closing back below that inversion fair value gap right here on the 5. Now we're back at the VWAP. Like to get a lower average entry on that potential long, because right now I don't think that long is completely out of the cards. It's just much harder to manage your risk here, given the size of this fair value gap. Let's check out the 15-minute time frame. 9:45, we're gonna get a new 15-minute candle, 1-hour candle and 4-hour candle in the next 4 minutes. We have bearish SMT divergence between ES and NQ. Let's take a look at EU. 3 AM pump, 1, 2, 3 pushes to the upside, bearish fair value gap continuation lower. Interesting. Not following that pump. Let's wait and see. I don't have to be in every move. Just want to remind myself of that, and maybe some others. We already caught awesome trades this week. I mean, Monday and Tuesday have just been fantastic. And even Wednesday's London session. We caught the long up yesterday, even on the free live stream. On Monday, we caught the long to the upside. During London, we caught the long to the upside today. I have missed a lot. Every time where we saw the opportunity, we always have been, I would call this lower risk, because we're not already at the extreme and we haven't cleared that previous day's high yet. Here we already did, and we just anticipate the continuation higher, retracement into inversion fair value gap, 15-minute fair value gap. Well, there's no 15-minute fair value gap right here. That's about to form with this new candle, paired with the SMT divergence. And like we said yesterday, when in doubt, turn the chart around. Let's do that, because we tend to get really stuck to our bias, and what I like to do then is to flip the chart around and see if the analysis that we already created, or our bias that we already formed, if it looks more bullish or bearish if we flip it around, or if it at least aligns. So right here, we took out the low, filled in the fair value gap. Well, today I guess it's a little bit more tricky. We had this little nice clean downtrend here. Trendline liquidity, we swept that very quickly, trapping all these longs, which in reality are shorts, liquidating them, stop hunting them. Now we're left behind inefficiencies, and the question is if we continue lower from here now. Interesting. I didn't see much confluence that we're going to continue lower while inverting the chart. So let's see, now we have a 5-minute fair value gap. That's the new hourly opening for the SilverBullet hour. We've retested the VWAP, came back to our baseline. You right click on your scale and then you click on invert. I'm not going to use this fair value gap. I'm not going to use this fair value gap. I'm going to look at the bigger picture here. Only look at the ones we've respected actually. They're just too small to be actually considered during the New York session. Bearish fair value gap right here. Would be a good sign if we manage to close above that and then use it as support for the continuation higher. But if we see rejection here and form a new lower low, it would also be that first sign of bearish order flow here. Welcome to the club. I'm quickly gonna fill up my water bottle. I'm gonna be back in no time. All right. Yesterday we had pleasant surprises when I came back from filling up my water bottle. Today not so pleasant, but like I said, we're not yet engaged. Bearish fair value gap used to form a new lower low. Now we're back inside of our breaker block and Q likely already. Yep, swept sell side liquidity paired with that SMT. Bookmap chat is long. Like I said, I'm not yet going to take a side. I could see the long play out. Now we also have potential bullish SMT where NQ swept the low of the day. NES is just holding, but I'm gonna wait for this candle close. This is the new hourly candle. We've been getting a lot of chop here on the hourly, not really in a trending market after Monday's rally to the upside. This could be the preparation for the upcoming CPI news event on Thursday, tomorrow. Keep that in mind. 15-minute time frame into 15-minute time frame inefficiencies. And if we look at the 15, this is our lower low, lower high, lower low, lower high, lower low. Market structure shift right here. So this would also be our 15-minute breaker block. This would be the lower risk long entry. Let's see, where did we close? We closed below the bullish fair value gap right here. Yeah, we did. And we started to respect bearish order flow. Let's take a look at NQ. NQ wicked the low of the day and rejected here. Except sometimes it's just good to zoom out and see that we really, in a bigger picture, didn't move much. So if we're going to continue lower after sweeping that relative equal high buy side with 3 equal highs, rejecting of the inefficiencies up here, we have room to the downside. So no reason to stress just yet, just because you're glued to the 1 minute time frame. Usually that is moving down if you exit. I think something's wrong with it. I'm just gonna get out of this. Breaker block on the 5 and 15. Let's see, old breaker block that we used to hold support twice. Retrace into our old resistance area. Filled this bearish value gap and headed lower. Now, I don't know, today I just don't have that feeling yet to get engaged. That's not very usual for me or typical. I mean, if you already got on the short, well done. H. Smith, nice. I just don't have that. Yeah, gut feeling for it yet. In terms of an opportunity where I have a good way to a good opportunity to manage risk well. We retraced, made it look short, quickly liquidated that, pump and dump. Right here, 50-50 call, but we had that SMT divergence. Let's see, anyone else? Yeah, I'm a bit too excited today. Why would that be? What would you say, Bongo Rambo? That would be a good metric to keep track of. If you already feel that. Not waiting for confirmation. That's what I don't want to do today. That's why I'm still holding back. I haven't didn't press any buttons yet on my funding pips accounts. Like I said, for this week, I'm already happy. We caught this short right here yesterday with that little internal 2022 model all the way into the slow. Once we bounced away from here, we used those two fair value gaps to catch orders buy side liquidity alongside this nice trend line here. Bull flag pattern, reversal setup, breaker block. Not on ES, on NQ it was an actual 2022 model continuation long, but we had clear and clean buy side available to target, especially if we flip the chart around. 1, 2, 3 pushes to the upside, market structure shift, bearish fair value gap, inversion fair value gap here, breaker block, that last manipulation, and even SMT divergence between ES and NQ right here. Just a great setup, and we caught it from the low, almost from the low. Let it run all the way into the previous day's high. On Monday we caught the long. We caught this long right here, and we were anticipating this to be the accumulation and manipulation. Especially once we saw that bullish reaction away from it, holding support on the first bullish fair value gaps, we got in right here on this discount at 610 post London kill zone, and let it run all the way into the Asia session high. Once that was done, we took a entry long on the live stream based on the 930 inefficiency, holding it towards the previous day's high. And then we just kept on going higher. I did not see that coming. Let's see where we're at. So just based on the good decisions we've made already this week, trying to hold myself back at least a little bit to look for a great confirmation. Long ES, closed short in profit. Let's see, we respected that lowest bullish fair value gap. NQ is also bouncing now. Bullish SMT divergence at the lows. Bearish SMT divergence at the highs. We're aware of that SMT short-term high clear. We see that. That's pretty obvious. 15-minute time frame. Rejecting after retesting these inefficiencies. That's our 15-minute breaker block. See what's going on the 1-minute time frame. No, still prefer to remain on the sidelines for now. See if we can push back above this inversion fair value gap here. Left behind a tiny little bearish fair value gap here. Bouncing off our breaker. Let's put that up again. I could see myself getting involved long once we get above bearish fair value gap here, use it as support, and the lever back into buy side. That would confirm long setup for me. Don't wanna, yeah, it's 5 points, that's fine. NQ is also pushing back up. It's nice to see now with SMT divergence at the lows. This could end up being that last manipulation to the downside with buy side left behind to potentially target. "30 seconds to go. Let's check out the 15-minute time frame on NQ. 1 hour time frame. 1 minute time frame. This would have been a nice liquidity sweep inversion fair value gap long right here. Bearish fair value gap, we close above, we retest it and continue higher. Just looking forward to target low hanging fruit liquidity. Buy side right here. Right here we close above, we retest it. Quick 15 points. And then letting one contract on a table as a little runner. Relative equal highs up here. Back above the VWAP. Open with a bullish volume imbalance here on ES. But still inside this inversion fair value gap. I'd say do a one lot if we get above that. Also keep in mind where we are on a daily time frame. Bearish fair value gap. After a daily bearish market structure shift here on NQ. But if we were to flip NQ on its head, it would start to look more bearish because it still has unfinished business down here, which means bullish. We keep an eye on it. Even if I end up not taking an execution between live execution until 11 AM, that's fine with me too today. aware man. Also shitty to find myself short in long city. Let's say for me, I should really chill out. Some days I start to think I predict the market exactly. I like that format. This is a normal day. Just chill out. Of course, there's some benefit in predicting the market. And I don't know, it might boost your ego. Like, oh, cool. I got in on the exact top on the SP500. But in the outside world, I mean, no one even cares. In the end, that's just you. Like you could tell your wife, oh, today, honey, I caught the perfect high to the tick on NQ. She'd be like, what? What are you even talking about? And it's gonna be very hard to nail it every day. You know, like on a consistent profitability basis. Did you take a break? I know you've been around for the London session as well, between London and New York. Bongo Rambo. Yeah, well, let's wait. Let's see if we find a nice confirmation like that. My confirmation would be the close above this bearish fair value gap to target buy side. That's going to be my game plan with this bullish divergence now here on NQ. Could also use this inversion fair value gap now to target those relative equal highs. Just don't feel ready yet to get involved. I could end the day just having caught this London 15-point move to the upside. And without feeling I missed out on anything. Well, we went shopping at least. Time off the charts. Sometimes I caught myself trading the London session and never leaving the screen actually. Trying to be in every move basically. Or even when I'm out, still checking the charts all the time. Right now we're not doing much. My confirmation for the long would come in here, and if we close for the short, it would be the close below this bearish fair value gap to target the opposite. Besides that, I think the best thing to do right now is to chill. Of course, we could also play a 2022 model here of this breaker block paired with the fair value gap. But I like the one we saw yesterday much more from the actual low of the day after having cleared that. Nice displacement, and most importantly, not having taken any buy side at this point in time. That's our market structure shift or displacement leg. Right here, lower low, lower high, lower low, market structure shift. And we still have plenty of targets to the upside. Today, well, if we would have seen something like that down here, more interested, but we already ran major buy side target. Above here, we don't have much other than bearish inefficiencies. That next buy side target would be all the way up here, so I wouldn't mind going in once we close above this bearish fair value gap, because there's still enough room for price to potentially move to the upside. Don't have to catch the actual low before I see at least maybe secondary confirmation. Oh. And another thing I wanted to ask you guys is, I put it yesterday into the announcement. I checked the WOP dashboard the last few days, and I've seen that the last reviews I received were 2 to 3 months old, and we had a 2 months old, 2 months, and then the next one from H. Smith. Thanks for all the reviews, by the way. That's the best way how you can support my work here. To simply leave a quick review or give me some feedback. It really helps me out here. It's just a little reminder. I put it out on the announcements channel right here on Discord too, on how to actually do that. Because I'm guessing, if it would be very obvious, and if WOP would actually ask customers to write a review, more reviews would be coming in. So I don't think it's very obvious. You have to actually navigate to a specific page, wop.com/hub, and then select the product you purchased, and then click on leave a review. In the meantime, well, prices, I'd say, don't want to say 50-50. I'm still leaning towards long, but I just don't think that this is a good entry point. I want to see that second confirmation and getting up here. Not catching the entire move, I'm fine with that. I appreciate it, Bongo Rambo. Whenever you have time. And also, if you have any suggestions, I also put that on the Discord yesterday inside the indicator chat. You already shared your feedback. I'm gonna go and see how I can implement that power of 3 suggestion you made, and the kill zones. User feedback in the end of the day is the best feedback I can ask for. So if you have any suggestions how I could further improve the ICT All-in-One, feel free to share it with me. I, for example, only use the Asia kill zone box, so I don't really mind seeing that history. Kind of helps me. But if you use all boxes, then I think that show history feature with a little tick box or checkbox would be helpful. What time is it? It's 25. So let's see what we get with that next 30-minute and 15-minute candle. 10 a.m. dropped, and then for that first 15-minute candle we consolidated inside the range of our 10 a.m. hourly candle. NQ is pushing to the upside after holding on this bullish fair value gap, also overlapping with this inversion fair value gap. That's the inversion fair value gap. That's the bullish fair value gap just below it. It looks better to me compared to ES, but I don't execute NQ too often. For the target here at relative equal high buy side. Let's see, we might be getting that push now. Let's check out the 15-minute time frame. 15-minute time frame is looking clean. Not as much noise as we see here on the 5. Q is pushing up here. Now we're inside that bearish fair value gap, and we have 1 minute to go. Maybe we get that close above even now. So I'm getting ready to place a potential trade. We just cleared this short-term high. with a lower high to the left and lower high to the right. One minute time frame wise. Getting into these two bearish fair value gaps on the 1 minute. New 15-minute candle open up with a bullish volume imbalance. That's interesting. So we see that bullish volume imbalance now that it happened between 10:25 and 10:30 on the 5, 15 and 30-minute time frame. So on the 15-minute time frame we also see that volume imbalance here coming off the breaker block and the bullish fair value gaps we left behind. Let's see if it offers the entry opportunity and if it's not just gonna run up into buy side immediately. And we also see that all we did right here with this bullish volume imbalance was retest that previous candle's closing price, immediately continuing with the momentum. Like I said, I'm still gonna wait for the confirmation. Two and a half minutes to go before we get the 5-minute candle close. The 15-minute chart is looking nice with the rejection wicks to the downside. Let's just see if we end up closing somewhere up here. Then I would look for a retracement on that next candle to scale in. But I like now how ES and NQ are moving in tandem. Just want to see a close-up of this bearish fair value gap as confirmation. Hoping that we actually get it on this candle, not on the next one, because that next one could simply run if we close where the candle is at right now. Let's see, let's be patient, let's practice patience a little bit. $40 seconds to go. One hour already showed us a nice retracement. That's nice. 15-minute, no fair value gap here on the 15. Let's see if we can get to close above. 20 seconds to go. Because right now we're also inside that 1 minute bearish fair value gap up here. In my opinion, that last level of defense if we want to continue lower from here. It closed exactly where we didn't really want to see it to close, so I'm going to stick to the plan and I'm not going to enter, even though I think it's very likely that NQ is going to run these highs. NES could therefore also continue higher, but I came up with a plan. I'm going to stick to that plan. Get rid of that. We left behind a new bullish fair value gap. This could be the SilverBullet opportunity. Retracement into that inefficiency and then push through the bearish one. Gonna keep track of that. You can also see that once we closed below this bullish fair value gap right here, we closed below it, but we immediately get back inside of it. Where would my stop be below this low? It's not the easiest thing to not just put in a feeder trade here, but yeah, I really want to practice that patience and sticking to the plan. It's okay. Made 2.5% on the account this morning during London, so no rush. Not do something I could possibly react. Lost the thought of train. That I could possibly regret within the next 15 minutes. Where I could simply say, oh Matt, you should have waited. Let's see, NQ is retesting that bullish fair value gap. Let's see if that holds support. Oh, what happened now? There we go. That would be that next best scale-in opportunity if you have that bullish bias on NQ, that it's going to take out this buy side liquidity right here. Let's actually try it on our paper account. Stop loss below the short-term low. Do the same thing here on ES if it's going to retrace into that efficiency. 55 seconds to go. If we retrace into this inefficiency on ES, I'm going to add. Otherwise, I'm going to wait for this candle to close. We might even get the close above here. And then I'm going to enter with my first position if we do get it. "15 seconds to go." Let's see how much risk there is to the downside. 5 points. We closed above. I'm going to enter. I put a position in right here. Not a big one. Still looking forward to maybe add some more if we retrace, but I'm in now. Sticking to the plan. NQ respected this bullish fair value gap nicely. It's really that confirmation for bullish order flow. We already got it right here. NQ is pushing, about to buy side. Yes, it's also following. So I got in on my funding pips account right here. Stops below the low. Target 5 points, NQ hit buy side. Gonna trail my stop loss below the short-term low. Look for 5 points above this high. Did anyone jump on the trade with me on either NQ or ES? Nice. The NQ is really going for it now. The target is going to be the high of the day. That limit has never been triggered, but we entered with a market order once we saw that close above the bearish fair value gap here. Retested the high and now we look for buy side. Same thing here on NQ. Confirmed bullish order flow once. We swept sell side, close above the bearish fair value gap, holding support on the inversion paired with the bullish fair value gap below it. just below buy side liquidity, so looking forward to catch the long off here. Let's see if we can continue with the momentum. What's the time? It's 10:40. 11 a.m. right here. Check out the 15-minute time frame. It's looking good. Short-term high on NQ. Now we have to push through those last few bearish fair value gaps before we hit that high of day. I stop into profit. We now successfully closed above that highest bearish fair value gap here on a 1-minute time frame. Let's see if we use it as support now, coming back into it. Or if we get rejected above our previous day's high, once again, after getting back above it. Forming a double top M pattern, basically. So the invalidation would be this bullish fair value gap. Tap the inversion fair value gap now for the first time. This is also a new 15-minute candle right here. Let's wait and see. So two scenarios really. This could be that one last trap the market makers set basically before they snap it down, taking out the low of the day. Or just a retracement before we hit buy side and continue potentially higher through these bearish fair value gaps. NQ keeps on continuing higher. There was stop already protected. I would even put it just below this candle slow. I added another position here on ES once we tapped the inversion fair value gap. What's going on, SMC Dungeon? I see, you're also on the long. Also on that same fair value gap here on NQ. Yeah, Agent Smith, he spoke about it this morning. He wants to make 10k profit today on his Apex account and get some payouts. Well, 3.5k is not too bad, I'd say. But he's got a different risk management or trading style / technique compared to myself. He basically does himself. He trades his own personality and his own gut feeling and his own way. That's why we said at the beginning of the year, if you guys are interested to maybe, if H. Smith also has the time for it. Of course, this is not financial advice or no live signal stream, but if you guys are interested in how H. Smith is managing his risk and just interested in his approach, then feel free to let us know, and then we can arrange a live stream where H. Smith takes over the reign. Nice reaction of our inversion fair value gap here. This was a good add to our position. So close above the fair value gap, I entered right here and added another position right here. Let's see if we can continue to push for this buy side. If we hit that buy side, I'm going to close one of them and let the other one run with my stop at break even. That's the game plan for now. Also keeping an eye here on NQ. If NQ runs and takes out that high of the day, while ES is still holding below it, I might change that plan. We will see. It's not written in stone yet. Flexible. That's a bearish value gap here on the 5 minute that we have to overcome before we potentially run into higher targets here on NQ. We already hit 2 buy side targets, so if I wouldn't just be in with one contract right here, I'd make sure to take partials. So just because I let this run doesn't mean you should too if you took this trade. Secure partials. Manage your risk well, put your stop at break even or little bits in profit. Now we have a new bullish fair value gap right here. Time frame, got above the short-term high, rejected, kept on holding support on the inversion. Well, let's see. It's still the potential that this is going to be that last trap to get some more traders involved long before snapping it away. SMC Dungeon, did it hit your targets yet here on NQ? Did it? I think your targets were just around this high if I saw that correctly. A nice profit here. Also got in on this bullish share value gap where I got in here 27 points. What's the time? It's 10:55. Alrighty. Interesting. Almost forgot about the time here. So 4 more minutes until we get a new hourly candle. 15-minute time frame. And only has 15-minute time frame. About to close on 1 hour time frame. 1 hour time frame. 1 hour time frame looking really bullish here on NQ at least. On ES as well. I mean, it rejected from these lows here, but it doesn't mean that, yeah, we couldn't smack down again, because we kind of have been doing that the entire time since Monday, ready to the upside. Down, up, down, back up, down, back up. So let's drop it back to the 5-minute time frame. Three minutes to go. Just put it a little bit below buy side regarding the time. Usually around the new hourly opening, that's where we see, or where we can anticipate some sort of manipulation, where we could see a new hourly candle 5-minute drop initially before we continue higher between 11 and 12. You can see that how we switched gears from this pullback right here with the new hourly candle, 10 a.m. Continued higher. Let's just keep an eye out for that. The invalidation for my long is going to be based on this bullish fair value gap here. And of course, if you have any questions, feel free to ask. Just put it in the chat. The last minute candle before we get that new hourly candle. NQ is pushing. Let's see if we get the close above this bearish value gap. get ready to place my TP just at buy side. At least one of the two contracts. Put my stop loss at break even. Once we hit that buy side, yes, we're close above the bearish value gap here on NQ. We open with a bearish volume imbalance here for that new hourly candle. Quickly switch accounts. NQ retested this inversion fair value gap now after closing above it. Let's see if it can make that final push into buy side. And if yes, can follow. Or if we're gonna get that new hour manipulation. Unfortunately, here on ES, not with many fair value gaps to play with on the 5-minute time frame. While on NQ, yeah, well, let's say more opportunity to tape read and actually listen to price. Is anyone in one of those trades? Or maybe in a short? Or maybe on a different assets? Mali, you mostly trade EU. Any updates? What's going on over there? Mm, 15-minute time frame, tiny little 15-minute fair value gap. I protected my stops here at break even. I'm not really interested to see it go back below here, even though we just could see that new hourly candle manipulation before we trend into one direction. I really want to see that buy side being hit first. Same thing goes for NQ. Already protected it in profit. Said this would have been a typical partial point. Make sure to secure some profit on these short-term high / buy side liquidity points. Retested the inversion. Let's see if we get the continuation up higher now. Also on ES. Because if NQ hits it, NES doesn't, this wouldn't be a great sign. At least for the short term. Let's see, we have 30 seconds left on this first 5-minute candle. Not much happened in that time. We're right inside that huge 1-hour bearish fair value gap from Tuesday the 2nd of January. That's why I'm gonna make sure to take a partial right here, because this is basically no man's land. And Q kept on holding above the inversion fair value gap right here. I'm gonna go to the toilet quickly. I'm gonna be back in, yeah, no time, like always. Alright, interesting. Starting to reject a little here. Let's just try to be patient as good as we can. Like I said, my funding pips account, my stop is protected at break even here. We're kind of hesitating too long here, for my liking. Just managing the risk, because I want to see buy side hit to be first before we retrace. So I have my take profit just a few ticks below it. One tick basically, right here at 4807 for one contract, and the other one I'm gonna leave that one running potentially. Not interested in holding for a potential retracement and then continuation. I would much rather prefer to, yeah, add to the position or re-enter if we get back down into this. But for this specific entry using the inversion fair value gap, I like to see buy side being delivered first. But so far, even if we look at the 1 minute time frame, left behind a bullish fair value gap right here, we filled that in and we continued higher. So right now we also have a bullish fair value gap right here. We've been respecting it. Let's see if we use that to push back above the high. At 4810. Yeah, okay, nice. That's good to know. 1 push, 2 push, 3 push. Don't want to see that break here, because this would very likely end up with NQ retracing into this inefficiency before it maybe makes that next move up higher. Right now it's still respecting the inversion fair value gap. But so far this new hourly candle didn't have an impact, at least on ES. Now we're starting to drop on NQ. And I'm stopped out at break even here. Will I? Let's see what this candle is going to do. On the 1 minute here on NQ, this could end up just being a sweep, a little stop hunt before we push through buy side. Same thing goes for ES. Pick up a few short-term lows before we push higher. Let's just follow price. Am I stopped out on the 50k as well? No, I'm still in on that one. No, I'm stopped out. So let's see how this candle is going to close. 15-minute time frame. Have a tiny little inefficiency here on the 15. Still 2.5 minutes left. Good feeling to take a trade and get out at break even without losing part of your margin, like on the Apex account. Let's see if trusting my gut feeling here was a good call. So now we filled in this inefficiency. Let's try a paper trade here. But we can sort of... Oh, what happened here on NQ? My stop loss? No, not my was it? Yeah, my stop loss was hit. You see that? Like we said earlier, this could be that last marketing move of the market makers to trap enough traders long at double top formation M pattern before they quickly put pressure on these longs that want to see that continuation up higher. And they do that by consolidating here, where all the retail traders keep on questioning, is this going to continue higher? New hourly candle, and then they snap it away. And they're like, shit, I have to get out. And they accept the loss, and one specific party is ending up with money. But let's see if we keep on respecting this bullish fair value gap. Like we said earlier, we're going to use that as invalidation. But we see how quickly NQ smacked down into our stop here. So this is just an example of how important it is to secure profits on the way up, because we hit buy side right here and right here. This was our first main objective, taking off 25 of even 50%, taking off some more here. This is your best case profit target and not your You know, sometimes it just doesn't make it into your best case profit target. I'm not going to re-enter again here on my funding pips account. I'm fine. Like I said, this could also just be a manipulation for the new hour before it continues higher. I like to wait for proper confirmation. Now I can imagine that shorts on Bookmap are ticking. I mean, I even saw that or anticipated it without Bookmap. That's why I mentioned that I have my stops at break even, because we just spent too much time right here at the high of the day without really going anywhere. And usually when we do that, that's when I snap it away and turn it around. That's where the distribution from longs to short happens. If someone goes long, there's someone else who takes the opportunity and takes the other side of that position, which would be the market makers. But in order to get enough people, bring them to the point to go long, or get them to that point to make that decision, they really have to use price to advertise it. So here we close below this bullish share value gap. That's interesting. Let's see if that next bullish share value gap fails. I'm not going to be on forever today. I'm going to stick around maybe until 11:30, wait for this fair value gap to be maybe invalidated. We also just tested the VWAP again. Starting to see that double top formation here. Volume being trapped above the previous day's high. Considering to take a short if we close below this fair value gap here in close proximity. So it'll also be a short-term market structure shift. Now, while saying that out loud, I'm actually not gonna take another short because it's post my execution time window, past 11 a.m. We tried, stopped out at break even. Let's see, gonna stick around for that decision to be made here. Let's see. Time frame, quick stop hunt, filled in some of the inefficiencies. Let's see if we get some sort of a V-shaped recovery here. 5-minute time frame about to close in 15 seconds. Okay, so no. We have a new fair value gap to work with for the tape read. And we can use it in the same way. If we close back above it, then that would be my kind of confirmation that this was just a manipulation to fill in some of the left behind inefficiencies before we continue higher. But if we don't, yeah, we're simply gonna use it to continue lower. Very similar to what we did right here. That first rejection, then that retracement right here, we see that. Down closing candle, big down closing candle. And this little push back up away from the VWAP. And then tapping into this bearish fair value gap, delivering lower. Same thing goes for NQ. If that would have been on a Apex account, well, this would have been that would have counted as a $500 loss because I didn't realize the profit, which would really make it hard. So we're pushing nicely back through it. Let's see if we can actually get to close above. Because then the direction for the next hourly candle would really be confirmed, for me at least. FTMO announced no new signups from US clients. That's interesting. That's very interesting. Mm, 7 seconds to go. Let's see how we close here, if we maybe get a volume. Oh, we got a bearish volume imbalance. Interesting. Also note the time. 11:20. That's 25. So let's see what we get with the new 15-minute, with the new 30-minute candle in 5 minutes. Mm. Let's see. So I'm not gonna, change in law a few months, I guess. Change in law in a few months, I guess. What do you? Now I know what you mean, referring to the FTMO thing. Yeah, well, maybe. FTMO is located in Europe and the Czech Republic. I'm not too worried. I'm not a US resident. But I guess there could be a change in law coming. Let's see, I'm gonna stick around for this to play out. The New York session offered some movement, I guess, but on the 5-minute time frame, not so much. I mean, New York opened up, we immediately shot to the upside. I mean, we're kind of looking forward to this equal high buy side to be hit. Then we retraced a lot. The only opportunity we could have taken would have been this bearish fair value gap. But we also had two bullish fair value gaps right here. Well, going against that short at least. No proper market structure shift and that stuff like that. Compared to yesterday, I just don't see the quality setup. I mean, yesterday was just super clean. And like I said earlier, I tried to clean up my account history by not taking too many silly trades where I just take the trade to be in a trade or to potentially not miss out. We keep on rejecting this fair value gap, but we really need to see that continuation lower now. The confirmation for me that we're gonna attack short-term lows, this one right here and this one right here, is gonna be the close below this bullish fair value gap here. But I'm not going to engage anymore today. It's post my execution time anyway. Tomorrow is the CPI news event. This week has already been going very well in terms of profits. Pretty much caught all the major moves, so I think it's time to wrap it up. So if there are any last minute questions, now is the time to ask. I think today, we didn't really miss out on much, if you think we did. Well, I mean, we mentioned the NQ setup right here. We got an on the NQ setup. Also mentioned that, well, it's wise to take partials. The more time we spend going sideways here, oh no, if I would have to pick a side, I'd say short. Just because it would do the most amount of damage, in my opinion. Yeah, did you end up in profit, or did you just manage to stay around break even, or if you took all the trades today? I mean, you eventually have to find your style, and if that style, like for example H and Smith style, means you're in most of the trades that happen, like being in the short and then taking profit, immediately being in that long, likely being in that short again, that's okay too. Just because your trades don't match up with someone else's trade doesn't mean that it's not a good approach. If the short goes through, yes. If not, okay, I understand. From what I can sense, I'd say a rather hectic trading session. It's at least compared to mine. Yeah, going sideways here, it's interesting. Still have that buy side above. Let's check out the 15-minute here on NQ. On NQ, we have a nice bullish fair value gap here that we could use to continue higher here, do some damage with the retracement, shake off a few weak longs, trigger some potential stops that kept on trailing, like me, for example, right here with the exit once we hit that short-term low, or yeah, this candle's low here basically. But I mean, if we look at the New York range today, can put it in a box. In a 12-point range. We caught more than 12 points really easily with a nice setup coming from the low of the day into buy-side targets during London. New York AM so far hasn't really been a pleasure to trade. We'll see. Could maybe look forward for a nice PM session setup. In case I'm still around on the computer, I make sure if I see a potential trade setup, to share it with you. And other than that, all I ask for is to leave a little review if you have some free time eventually, maybe on the weekend, like Bongo Rambo said, to leave a review on the wop.com shop. I would really appreciate it. It would really help me out if you find any value in the streams and the content I share. Otherwise, I can't force you to do it, of course. So I shared how you can do that also on the Discord inside the announcements tab. Let's see if we get that close below this bullish fair value gap. I think then your short could go well into these short-term lows. That would really be that invalidation for long retraced. And I think we could see that M formation where market makers use price to market longs for this continuation lower. Let's see, we might get it on this candle. Just Kita, Aaron, Marley, any last minute questions? Or any things you want to add? How was your New York session like? Did you get involved in this? Well, I have to say I'm kind of proud of myself here to not. Usually those are the sessions where I really mess things up. In terms of messing up the profit I have made during very clean New York sessions, where I had a good feeling of where it's gonna go, like yesterday or Monday. If you watched the weekly recap from last week, you might have heard me say that exact same thing. That usually when we go sideways or don't move much, I move from long to short and then back to long and then back to short within a matter of minutes. And I tried to work on that this week. I see someone typing, so I'm gonna stick around for a little longer. Don't be shy to engage with the community. Use it as an opportunity. Since we're all in the same boat here. That's okay. Just maybe what I always like to do when I notice that I lost it during a specific session, look for reasons outside. So not when you sit in front of the charts, maybe also for signs where you could have said, okay, I'm kind of losing it here, might be wise to stop it. But also try to look for reasons outside what happened on this specific day, different to maybe yesterday where you didn't lose it, and try to find some similarities. Just write it on a list and see if you can find any patterns within your days where you lose it, and then just keep track of that in your photo and then maybe review it once a month or maybe twice per month and see, okay, I tend to lose it specifically midweek after already having made some profit, with that feeling that, oh, I just want to get through that challenge or blah blah blah. That's what it used to be for me, if that makes any sense. But though, if I had stress at work or outside of my trading time, had to get something else done, whatever it is. But definitely make sure to use bad days as an opportunity to learn and grow, because that's where we eventually learn the most about ourselves. Not about the charts. We can't have any influence on the charts, but only on ourselves. So I'm going to leave it at that. Thanks for joining in today. Tomorrow we will be also streaming on YouTube again. So let's see what happens for the rest of the day. As a last quick outlook, if we manage to close below this, I would anticipate price to retrace to short-term lows, and depending on how quickly we do, maybe even hit that low of the day with that double top formation. As long as we hold this, I could still see price bouncing around here for a little before we continue into more buy side. We also see that on NQ here. Usually, if we want to attack sell side, we do it very efficiently, very quickly, having traders strapped long. If we offer them too much time still at the high, market makers would basically offer them a opportunity to get out with a small cut or at break even. If we keep that in mind, because otherwise they would just snap it away very quickly. Like for example here, if you try to get in short for a potential breakout, continuation lower, boom, you wouldn't have had enough time to react here. So the more time we spend, like for example right here and within a significant area without going anywhere, more likely at most of the time is that we're going to do the exact opposite of what we're doing right now. Like here we went up, spent 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 minutes up here without really doing much. Then we snapped it away very quickly. And similarly, we're doing it right now. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25 minutes just going sideways here. That's not very typical. Of course, it doesn't happen or play out like this 10 out of 10 times. But from experience, I say most of the times. Alright, guys, that's it for today. I appreciate you guys joining in and asking questions, engaging. So I have stuff to talk about. I will be back tomorrow. Until then, take care and enjoy the rest of your day or evening. Bye. Servus. Was geht? Tschüss im Dunkeln.
Nee, Mann, ich hab ne Ding. Klappe über
Ach so.
der Kamera.
Ah, ja, stimmt. Kann ja keiner zuschauen dann. Beim Fappen.
Safe. Nee, Alter, hab ich keine Ahnung, vor 2 Wochen oder so. Vor 2 Wochen mal so ein Video gesehen von irgendeinem Spy, Alter. Hat er gesagt, kann er selbst, wenn der Computer aus ist, Alter, könnt ihr die Kamera anschauen.
Ja, okay, ja klar, wenn da irgendwie so eine Malware auf deinem Computer ist, dann können sie die schon einschalten, das stimmt schon.
Ja, aber schon krass, der Computer muss nicht mehr an sein. Also nur wenn er aufgeklappt ist, sehen die es dann. Da hat mir Junge, Alter, Taser direkt drüber und seitdem hat nie wieder abgemacht. Nicht mehr.
Geil.
Was geht bei dir?
Gerade den Livestream beendet und nach den Meme-Coin schauen, wo ich gerade drin bin, was da so abgeht, was da so papiert ist. Oh. Und ja, das ist jetzt auch schon fertig. Ja, keine Ahnung, gerade jetzt den Livestream beendet. $50 gemacht. Ich wollte noch long, war long auf dem ES, aber dann, ja, hat er ganz schnell, was heißt ganz schnell umdreht? Ich hatte meinen Stop-Loss schon bei Break-Even. Hab schon fast kommen sehen, weil der ging hoch, aber dann hat fast eine halbe Stunde lang nichts gemacht und dann neue Stunde macht auf, dann haut es in der Regel nochmal schnell in die andere Richtung, bevor es weiter in die gleiche Richtung geht. Ja, und dann bin ich bei Break-Even raus. London Session war ja heute brutal. Ich habe einfach nicht das Setup gesehen, um ja wirklich jetzt gut Risk anzuwenden. Ja, keine Ahnung, nicht nur einen Trade genommen und den bei Break-Even jetzt. Eventuell gehe ich nochmal long, mal schauen, was jetzt passiert.
Fand ich halt früh so ein Bildschirm, wo das Ding ultra abgegangen ist.
ES?
Ja, schon, oder nicht?
Ja, da war ich drin. Da habe ich dir ja geschickt.
Ja, aber warum schreibst du dann Break-Even, hä?
Ja, das war ja heute Morgen. Ich meine für jetzt Break-Even. Für die New York Session.
Ach so.
London ist gut im Profit gewesen, aber ich habe jetzt nur für die New York Session gesagt Break-Even.
So.
Also heute schon auf jeden Fall Profit. Auf jeden Fall nichts von dem Profit hergeben.
Was wolltest du halt machen in New York?
Heute in New York. Wir hatten erstmal den Pump hoch und der ging ja direkt ins High rein. Da war ich dann ein bisschen skeptisch, da jetzt direkt nochmal long reinzuhüpfen, zumindest auf dem Funding Pips Account. Dann hat man ein schönes Retracement. Nasdaq hat währenddessen ein neues Low für einen Tag gemacht. Dann habe ich schon überlegt, na, hüpfe ich da long so beim Retracement. Aber dann, ja, keine Ahnung, war mir eine zu große Range und wir haben ja Buy-Side theoretisch schon rausgenommen. Und dann bin ich long, als wir auf der 5 Minuten, als wir über dieses, wie viel Uhr war es dann? 9:50 Uhr Bearish Fair Value Gap sind. Da bin ich dann mit long und wollte halt, ja, Preis, neues High sehen. Aber dann haben wir irgendwann den...
Da oben dann erst, okay?
Ja, genau. Sobald wir über dieses Bearish Fair Value Gap drüber waren und dann ging es auch direkt in die Richtung, das war nice. Und ja, wollte es dann halt einfach das High sehen, bevor es jetzt nochmal dieses Retracement macht. Aber dann wurde es ja schon, ging es ja schon Richtung 11 Uhr. Und dann hat es um 11 Uhr nichts gemacht und um 11:05 Uhr noch weniger. Und dann war mir schon fast klar, dass da jetzt nochmal so ein schöner Gegenmove kommt. Falls es heute trotzdem noch höher läuft, dann kommt an der Stunde, bei der 9. Stunde in der Regel nochmal so ein Counter-Move, um nochmal ein paar Stops mitzunehmen, bevor es dann im Endeffekt wieder umdrehen und höher gehen. Keine Ahnung, das sehe ich auf WS ganz oft. Aber ja, nee, dann bin ich da bei Break-Even raus. Und das war's auch. Ich habe jetzt überlegt nochmal an dem Bullish Valley Gap mit Longs. Sobald wir über dieses, wie viel Uhr ist es? 11:10 Uhr Bearish Valley Gap sind, sollte man eigentlich good to go Longs sein. Aber heute während New York haben wir auch eigentlich nicht viel gemacht. Wir sind hoch, runter, wieder hoch, dann wieder runter. Ist ja eigentlich eine Box, wo wir nur seitwärts gehen. Ja, einen guten Pump hoch. Aber auch schwer, außer da jetzt mit Bauchgefühl einfach long zu hüpfen, dass wir jetzt long gehen. Auch nicht wirklich.
Aber ist es nicht so eins von deinen Dingen, weil er hat doch links die 650 Lows rausgenommen und dann long, oder nicht? Ist doch, sagst du doch, Liquidity raus und rum.
Ja, aber da habe ich ja noch nicht geschaut. Ich bin dann erst um 9:30 Uhr hin. Und dann habe ich kein Fair Value Gap gehabt, um,
Ach so, ja, okay, sorry. Ja.
um da um 9:30 Uhr mitzumachen. Aber jetzt mal schauen, wie sieht es auf der 1 Minuten aus. Ja, ne, eigentlich auch nicht wirklich gerade interessiert. Die Woche war ja schon echt richtig gut. Da muss ich es nicht nochmal ausreizen. Während so einer Session dann. Das war letzte Woche, da habe ich so eine Weekly Recap von all meinen Trades gemacht. Für mich selber auch und ja, halt für YouTube, dass mal wieder ein Video hochladen wird. Da ist mir halt aufgefallen, ich bin in den guten Setups immer drin, wenn da ein nices Model ist oder ja, einfach ein gutes Setup, was auch gut funktioniert im Endeffekt. Das ist ja dann in der Regel oft die Definition von einem guten Setup, wenn es gut funktioniert. Aber halt einfach auch zu oft und dann zu stark in den Seitwärtsbewegungen. Weil ich dann, okay, Long Short, Long Short, Long Short, Long Short. Da kriegt es mich dann ab und zu oft. Was heißt ab und zu? Letzte Woche zumindest oft.
Aber was man da sagen kann, wenn du sagst Seitwärtsbewegung, dann würde ich mal auf die Uhrzeit schauen, wann du tradest. Eine Seitwärtsbewegung passiert ja nicht um 39, sondern erst um 11 oder so.
Ja, letzte Woche hatten wir es auch um 9:30 Uhr. Das sind wir die ganze AM-Session bis 11 Uhr. Wirklich nur High rausgenommen, Low rausgenommen und dann hier Bullish Fair Value Gap und jetzt läuft es in Sell, jetzt läuft es in Buy, okay, dreht schon wieder um und läuft in die andere Richtung und ist nie weiter in eine Richtung gefallen und da hat es mich dann erwischt. Heute ist ja theoretisch genauso. Wir hatten den Pump and Dump. Klar, wenn du dann das Low irgendwo von dem Move nach unten kaufst, hätte schon machen können, aber ja, wenn du das mit gestern vergleichst, wenn du da jetzt zurückscrollst auf gestern, da um 9:30 Uhr, waren wir ja schon ganz unten vom Tag. Wir haben den ganzen Tag Lower Lows und Lower Highs gemacht. Sind am Tiefpunkt vom Tag, gehen seitwärts. Ein bisschen Consolidation könnte man sagen. Dann hat man sogar noch SMT Divergence zwischen NQ und ES. Und dann kam ja da um 10:05 Uhr richtig schön Momentum rein. Structure Shift. Dann hat man 2 Bullish Fair Value Gaps, Inversion. Dann bin ich da um 10:55 Uhr und um 10:30 Uhr habe ich dann meine Long-Position hingesetzt, weil wir halt noch schön Buy-Side links und rechts haben. Wir sind die ganze Zeit nur runter während London. Dann bin ich da reingekippt. Und heute ist halt der Unterschied dazu, dass wir das High schon rausgenommen haben. Und da hatte ich dann nicht wirklich Lust, bei einem Retracement reinzugehen. Weil halt die Gefahr für ein Pump and Dump, glaube ich, dann schon echt ziemlich, zu groß ist für mich. Ja, nee, aber ansonsten ganz zufrieden mit dem, was ich heute gemacht habe. Ein Trade, Break-Even. Jetzt, wenn ich mir die Session danach anschauen würde, hätte ich auch Schwierigkeiten, da jetzt ein gutes Setup zu identifizieren. Außer einen kurzen Scalp vielleicht mal, aber das war ja der Plan mit dem Fair Value Gap dann da oben. Es wären ja auch 5 Punkte da nach oben in dieses High gewesen. Und wenn es dann weitergelaufen wäre, hätte ich halt meinen Stop-Loss auf Break-Even gesetzt und mal schauen, wie weit es läuft. Und bei dir, was hast du halt gemacht?
Die Videos von gestern Abend habe ich den ganzen Livestream gar nicht anschauen können.
Mhm.
Danach die letzte halbe Stunde. Angeschaut und jetzt vorhin war der noch 1,5 Stunden online gewesen. Einfach ein bisschen zugeschaut. Gestern Abend, aber ich meine, hätte ich eh nicht machen können, aber da wo ich dann die letzte halbe Stunde weggegangen ist, hatte der noch 2 Trades.
Ja.
Sind noch reingegangen. Und die sind auch ultra hoch geballert halt wieder. Er hätte auch nur 3A oder so mitgenommen, aber ich glaube, was war das? EJ, also Euro, JPY, die ballern ja immer noch.
Aber dann immer noch in einer, ja, okay.
Ja, Junge, seit gestern irgendwie deutscher Zeit 8 Uhr abends oder so in den Trade rein. Also, warte mal, was war das für ein Level ungefähr? Bei EJ, wenn du sagst, gestern 19 Uhr oder so.
Mhm. War dann was?
Also ungefähr rein. Ja, 3A ist ja nicht mal die Hälfte großartig von dem, was er gemacht hat.
Ja.
Ja, safe.
Ja, okay, klar, wenn man dann die Higher Time Frame Perspective dann auch noch drin hat, dann kann man die auch mal schön laufen. Aber morgen ist ja auch CPI. Deswegen war ich da ein bisschen.
Ja, der hat jetzt heute, keine Ahnung, 5 Trades oder so, was heißt gemacht, reingesetzt oder so.
Mhm.
Aber ja, bin ich jetzt auch nicht rein. Das kann ich eh nicht machen mit meinem Account ja gerade aktuell. Aber ja.
Hast dich in. Ja, wahrscheinlich noch nicht. Das braucht ja in der Regel ein bisschen. Bis mit wechselndem Funded Account.
Ach, da überlege ich erstmal meine Uhr.
Ja, klar. Hast ja keine Eile.
Nee, null.
Aber wann wäre dann der nächste Livestream? Morgen früh wieder, oder?
Ja, das ist halt das Komische. Zum Beispiel, was hat er heute? Einfach heute Mittag. Habe ich auch noch hingetroffen, da hat er. Trading Updates. Ja, zum Beispiel heute Mittag um 1 einfach.
Mhm.
Heute Mittag um 1 hat er einfach geschrieben. Habt ihr alle Zeit in ein paar Minuten oder in ein paar Stunden? Ne? Und dann um 4 war er dann online. Oder um 4 hat er dann nochmal, okay, jetzt hier ist der Link, bla bla bla.
Ach,
Aber es ist jetzt nicht so, okay, hier um die Uhrzeit, da Uhrzeit. Oft ist um 8, keine Ahnung. Das ist alles aktuell noch ein bisschen so. Muss gefühlt online und wach sein, dann siehst du ihn.
ja.
Aber sonst ist auch ein bisschen.
Sonst hast du keine Chance, wirklich. Ja, okay. Hätte ich gedacht, dass er das mehr strukturiert hat. Dass da wirklich dann in dem Kalender steht, okay, hey, um 2 fängt der Stream an.
War es ja auch, das haben sie ja rausgenommen.
Ach so.
War es ja auch in dem Kalender, was ich da mal geschaut habe.
Mhm.
Da stand es dann für jeden Tag drinnen.
Ja, das ist aber auch random.
Ja.
Das würde mich schon abfucken, hätte ich da jetzt mir eine Yearly Membership gekauft. So, und dann muss ich die ganze Zeit auf mein Handy und kann halt nicht strukturieren, weil viele arbeiten ja auch.
Ja, es geht, ich glaube, ein grobes System wird da irgendwann in einer gewissen Weise schon drin sein. Ich meine, jetzt heute 16 Uhr, gestern, also 16 Uhr deutscher Zeit, gestern um 8. Aber man muss doch sagen, er ist für das, was du zahlst, keine Ahnung, okay, ich habe sowas noch nie gehabt, aber er ist jetzt für das, was du zahlst, schon eigentlich lange online. Klar, labert er auch viel Bullshit außenrum. Aber ich meine, gestern hat er 2 Streams gemacht, beide waren eine Stunde.
Mhm.
Also einen um 8 Uhr in der Früh zur London Session und einen 19 Uhr zur PM Session sozusagen.
Ja.
Und jetzt heute halt einen um 16 Uhr. Keine Ahnung, das, ja, vorgestern war einer um 21 Uhr.
Mhm.
Ja, müssen wir schauen, ob da irgendein Rhythmus reinkommt oder irgendwas.
Ja, das wäre schon wichtig, weil das will man eigentlich schon haben.
Ja, safe, ich will ja auch nicht den ganzen Tag da hocken.
So 5 Minuten vorher, oh ja, jetzt gehen wir auf den Livestream und ja, jetzt gehen wir hier auf den GU Long. Ja, toll, dann verpasst auch jeder.
Nee, also